They'll have 2 minutes to answer it, and we'll go in the reverse order from the opening. That reverse order will be Mr. Cummins, Mr. Cintron, Mr. D'Amico, Mr. Torres, and Mr. Nagin. I'll, again, help out by calling your name before each of you, but Mr. Cummins will go first. The question is this. Today's statements and questions have focused on Ward 14, as certainly they should. These are difficult economic times for the entire community. What do you think is the single most important citywide initiative to increase economic development in our community, and what will you do to make sure that policy is put into action? What's the single most citywide need to improve the economic condition of the entire Cleveland community? Mr. Cummins.
Well, I think clearly I can wrap up the issue in terms of workforce development and just the quality of life in the city of Cleveland, because that's what's going to draw and maintain and sustain employment in the city. That issue is fairly broad, though, in terms of dealing with education, which has been talked about today. It also deals with our competitiveness in terms of energy. I sit on the Public Utilities Committee, and we're doing a lot of inventive things in terms of Cleveland Public Power and trying to be as competitive as possible. Competitive rates for electricity for manufacturing and business is extremely important. In addition, in terms of quality of life in attracting and maintaining good employment, employers and employees, is the quality of life. We're going to be faced, the mayor and council very shortly are going to be faced with a tremendous challenge in terms of potential budget deficits coming up for this next year. Although the mayor's done a good job in terms of finding efficiencies, we're going to have to dig a lot deeper to find those efficiencies. That's going to be required of all aspects of government in terms of our public services. We cannot let go. We have to build, if anything, strengthen our city services because if you don't have and don't maintain a quality of life in the city of Cleveland, you're not going to keep businesses, you're not going to keep and attract talented employees. And I think those are some of the critical issues that are dealing with retention and attraction of business.
Thank you, Mr. Cummins. Mr. Cintron.
Before, we used to compete with the city and the suburbs. They used to take our jobs, our companies, and back and forth. But we got one key asset that we continue forgetting. We had the port. And what we have to do is promote that port to foreign countries. Our job industries have left to other countries, but there's great opportunity that a lot of foreign businesses want to come and do business in America. But federal laws are stopping us from doing that. Why is it so easy for foreign countries to allow our businesses to go over there, but our laws are difficult? We need to open that process to allow these major manufacturers to come here. Because if they come here, we will create jobs. And if we have jobs, our crime will go down. And if the city of Cleveland has jobs, we are able to bring people back to the city of Cleveland that is declining as the year goes by of our population moving elsewhere looking for jobs. And if we bring jobs, we have a home for our family to live in. And we bring those jobs from the outside back in, our children will have a better education. We have to be an open mind. City government, state government, county government, the federal government all need to be working on the same page. And that's lacking in this county. It's lacking in the state of Ohio. And if we're not capable of doing that, we're in trouble. And we're seeing that recession. We're seeing the problems right now in the city of Cleveland. I know my experience will lead. And I know my voice will be heard, not only in Spanish, not only in English, but in multiple different cultures, because it affects us all living together. We live in America, and I am proud to be an American.
Thank you, Mr. Cintron. Mr. D'Amico.
I believe one of the problems is, of course, and we all agree, that there are not enough jobs in the city of Cleveland. And there is nothing, no one's doing anything to bring jobs here to the city of Cleveland. And I believe one of the problems is our current city council, our current mayor, do not get along with each other. You're always hearing about this councilman fighting with the mayor, this councilman fighting with the council president. Why can't these people get together and make a decision to help the whole city instead of each ward that they would live in? The council needs to stick together and do what's right for the city of Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeVico. And Mr. Torres, your 2-minute answer.
Currently, we have the port projects that is being referred to. We have the Interbelt Bridge that has been referred to. We have the wind turbine project that has been referred to. These are projects that are going to take place within the next 10 years, starting next year. We need City Council, and I personally would stand up to say, why is this steel not coming from our steel mill down in the flats? Why is this concrete not coming from local vendors? Why are we working to pay someone else's way? Why are we not asking for someone to represent us? Nobody has mentioned employment numbers for the bridge project. Nobody has mentioned employment numbers for Cleveland residents on the wind project. Nobody has mentioned for numbers on the port projects. I believe in those projects, but I also believe that we need to be represented on those projects. We, the people of Cleveland, we, Americans of Cleveland, need to have a voice. We, the people, need to have a voice of change. Somebody that is willing not only to take on the good fight, but take on a fight that's winnable. Let's not get up in City Council and just wave our arms just to say, well, he's a little aggressive, he's a great guy. Let's fight fights that are winnable. Let's not bark up the wrong trees, and let's just grab these opportunities that are at our fingertips today and work to make sure that those opportunities don't slip away. Too many opportunities have slipped away, and I will fight for every opportunity that comes our way to be a benefit to the city of Cleveland.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. And finally, Mr. Nagin, your response.
I think last November's election was a historic change in our country, and it was a break with 30 years of neglect, of malign neglect of the cities, encouraging companies to go overseas. And I worked very hard for President Obama's election, and I believe very strongly in his vision of a more united and progressive America, and one in which money will be allocated in ways that will create jobs and put money in the pockets of people through health care reform, through green energy. And we need to fight for that at all levels of government. We need to get this money into the city of Cleveland. I don't believe that manufacturing is gone in Cleveland at all. I was part of the fight to save the steel mill here. I was part of Congressman Kucinich's Steel Summit, and I think we need to fight for manufacturing. If there is infrastructure money, we need to fight for that. And I think that, which will create jobs. And I think that I agree with Councilman Cummins that the budget is going to be a very serious crisis that we're going to face in the city of Cleveland. We're on very thin ice. We need to strengthen the tax base of this city. I'm opposed to tax increases. There's going to be a lot of pressure to increase taxes and to cut services and jobs, and I'm opposed to going that direction. We can make efficiencies, but we need to reverse the policies at the state and national level and get more money into the pockets of working people in this country. I'm a very honest, hardworking, and accessible person, and I will be there for the people of Ward 14 to fight on your behalf at the grassroots and in City Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we've been listening to a debate between Mr. Nelson Cintron, Mr. Brian Cummins, Mr. James D'Amico, Mr. Rick Nagin, and Mr. Moises Torres, candidates for Cleveland City Council Ward 14. Thank you, candidates. Thank you, audience. This forum is now adjourned.